Karibuni tena. Mnaendelea kutazama Mizani ya Afya.
Fibroids, let me say fibroids generally. First of all, the important thing to know is not so much the size than the site. The uterus is like a bag. So we have the outer layer, something we call the perimetrium. Then we have the meat of the fibroid, which is called the endometrium. And we have the inner lining of the uterus, which we call the endometrium. So depending on the site, where is this fibroid placed, would actually determine which way to go, and also other factors like the age. Do they have children? Do they have the family size they desire? So many other factors that would determine what we do about it, but the site is more important. For example, if a fibroid is at the perimetrium, it may not have as the symptoms of bleeding, for example, because it's like hanging outside. It's like it's on top because it's at the perimetrium. Versus if it is in the myometrium or endometrium, that would cause a lot of bleeding, a lot of pain, pain during your menstrual cycle, or even pain during when you're having sexual relations. Okay. So that would determine what way to go.
He's like, because we don't know how many there are, sometimes fibroids hide behind each other. I want to cut open, remove everything that's there, and then now. So I said, okay. So he said, and he said, if you've also not been able to have a child yet, this could be a contributing factor. So let's just check. So I said, okay, fine. I guess we can. Let's remove them. If my periods are still heavy and they're not getting any lighter, why not? So I talked to my husband, told him, the doctor is saying we remove them. He's like, please, finally a doctor who's doing something about it. Because my previous doctor did not want to operate. And I understood where she was coming from. She said there could be complications with operating. She had told me things like it could form scarring in the uterus. Then also now I went to read, I saw you can end up bleeding so much that they have to take out the whole uterus. So I understood where she was coming from.
All right, so there are two types of treatment. We could actually try medical treatment first before we go to the surgery. So for medical treatment, what are we giving? We're giving antiprogesterones so that we can try and shrink the size of the fibroid. And then if it is a surgery, we have something we call myomectomy. That is a removal of the fibroid. But we always advise any patient that if you're going for a myomectomy, there is a risk that we may have to come out with the whole uterus, because it may bleed too much and we just need to come out of this. So if for any patient who's going for a myomectomy, we need to have counseled them about the family size. Are you sure that 4 children is the maximum that you want? You have, are you there yet? So we give a lot of counseling, because for any patient who's going for a myomectomy, there is a chance we could change the procedure while in theater and do something we call a hysterectomy. That's a total removal of the uterus.
Shida zingine unaweza pata ukiwa na fibroids ni kama fibroids zinazoleta hedhi nzito huleta anemia na iron deficiency. Kwa sababu ya kufinyiliwa kwa utumbo, uvimbe humkumba mwanamke. Ukandamizaji wa ureta huenda ukasababisha hydronephrosis. Fibroids pia zinaweza patikana na endometriosis, ambayo pia inaweza kusababisha mwanamke kuwa tasa.
But now this guy is telling me, let's remove before they get too big. Now he was explaining, if they get too big, it will get to a point where we have to remove everything. There's no saving the uterus, because now they've disfigured the uterus, the shape will change. And then, what else did he say? And the periods will just keep getting heavier, which means now I'll become anemic. We didn't want that, so tukasema sawa tutoe. But I was still ish. This was a new guy. Forgive me, again, I'm traditional. Young guy, I'm like, I don't know you.
So there are a couple of complications of fibroids. The biggest one is hemorrhage, bleeding. So you could have severe anemia, that's one. 2, you could actually have maybe where the fibroid is placed, one of the veins rupturing. So that would give you interperitoneal hemorrhage, that is bleeding in your peritoneal cavity. You could also have, if the fibroid is on the perimetrium, yeah, and it is pedunculated like a stick, maybe it has a stick, looks like a lollipop. If it tosses, if it gets torsion or twists around itself, that is now a medical emergency. And we also have infections that could cause, infections could be a complication of the fibroids as well.
Okay.
And we have also to talk about infertility. This is an emerging issue across the board. So yes, infertility is also a complication.
So I called a few relatives. I asked, who's your gynae? So my cousin tells me, one of our neighbors when we were growing up was her doctor. So I say, okay. So she said, go see him. He's in town. I work in town. He's in town. Go see him. So I went over lunch hour. He was so busy. His clinic was so full. So I was like, I need to see him, but I need to go back to work. Then I was told there's another guy, just try. So I went in, I saw him, I told him, I've been told that I need to get my fibroids removed. I've come with my ultrasound for you to look at. This other guy tells me he needs to cut me open completely. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know what that means. So he said, before anything, why don't you lie down, let me feel them. So I lay down. So he said, yep, they're definitely there. I can feel more than one. So I said, okay. Then now he took out my ultrasound, he looked at it, he said, okay, I can see one here, here, here. So he said, I think where the doctor is coming from is a good place, we should remove them. But he took his time when he was walking me through the process and everything, that I ended up just switching doctors. So I went to him.
As with any surgery, there are risks. So it would be, and it's human because everybody is scared. I mean, surgery is scary because you'd have to be under general anesthesia. There are complications to the anesthesia. There's complication intra-op when we are in the theater. So yes, there are patients who come maybe confident, thinking, let's do the surgery and get over and done with. But after you explain to them, they get a bit scared. What we do is we follow up with them. We get them follow-up appointments so that we keep on counseling them and also keep on checking the size. Remember, the size and the site of the fibroid, because also it determines the quality of life this woman is having. Is she bleeding all the time? That is a problem. Does she have pressure symptoms of constipation? It is a problem. Is she trying to get a baby? This is a problem. So it depends with the symptoms she is presenting, and also just counseling the patient, bringing them closer at home to understand why we would prefer surgery versus waiting, And once we do that counseling, they come around.
So I went in for surgery. It was supposed to happen on the 6th of February. I went in on the 5th that night. Next thing I remember, I was waking up. In fact, now a nurse was waking me up. She's like, Diane, you have to wake up now. So I started to wake up. You're in and out of sleep. She asked me, are you feeling pain? I was feeling a bit of pain. So I could tell they had finished. So she asks me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much? I said 8. Then I said, no, 7. So she said, okay, I'll give you something for the pain. Then I think she gave me, I don't know, because I was blacking out kabisa. So then they moved me back to the ward. One of the things when I came out of theater that I really wanted to ask someone was, do I still have my uterus? Because nobody was talking to me at that point. They knew I was still woozy, So when I got a chance with a nurse, I asked her, do I have my uterus? So she said, yeah, you do. I was like, oh, okay, at least I still have my uterus. But it was quite the experience.
I would like us to move from curative medicine to preventive medicine. Ladies, anywhere you are, please plan for an annual wellness checkup where you go to a facility that is near you and they do basic tests and an ultrasound is part of it. And if they find the fibroid, please do not panic. Take that ultrasound, get a gynecologist that you trust and follow them up, and it shall be well.
Wiki ijayo Tutakujuza mengi zaidi kuhusu afya yako. Mimi ni wako Mudheu Mumu, na nitakuacha na msemo wa kiafya kutoka kwa Benjamin Franklin: kinga ni bora kuliko tiba.